Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship watching the stars. He had been in space for 20 years, but today was different. Today the stars were blocked by something else. Giant alien ships appeared in the darkness around Earth. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships belonged to the Zephyrian Empire. This empire had taken over half the galaxy. They had defeated 12 different alien races. Now they wanted Earth. Admiral Lisa Hayes was in her office when the message came. The alien emperor himself appeared as a blue light in front of her desk. His name was Vextar, and he looked like a giant lizard with 4 arms. He spoke in perfect English. "Humans of Earth," the emperor said, "you will surrender now. Give up all your weapons, move your people where we tell you, work for us like slaves. If you say no, we will kill everyone." The message ended. Lisa sat in silence for a moment. Then she picked up her phone and called. The president. President Dan Carter was eating breakfast when his phone rang. After Lisa told him about the message, he stopped eating. His coffee got cold as he listened. When she finished talking, he was quiet for a long time. "How long do we have?" he asked. "They want an answer in 72 hours, Lisa said. "Call everyone, we need to meet now." 2 hours later, the most important people on Earth sat around a big table. President Carter looked tired. "General Amy." Foster looked scared. Commander Rick Johnson looked angry. Dr. Paul Adams looked thoughtful. "We should talk to them," General Foster said. "Maybe we can make a deal. They have taken over dozens of worlds. How can we fight that?" "We can't fight them and win," Commander Johnson said. "But maybe we don't need to win." "What do you mean?" the president asked. Johnson put a small device on the table. A map appeared in the air above it. It showed the galaxy with red dots marking the Empire's worlds. "Lieutenant Kate Wilson has been watching them for 2 years," Johnson said. "She found something interesting. Every time they take over a world, the same thing happens. The aliens there give up without much fighting. They choose to live as slaves instead of dying free." Dr. Adams nodded. "I have studied this too. Every species they conquered valued staying alive more than staying free. That is why the Empire grew so big so fast. But humans are different," Johnson continued. "Kate's team studied our history. Humans have always chosen to fight even when they knew they would lose. We would rather die than be slaves." General Foster shook her head. "That's just stories. When people really face death, they choose life." "Do they?" Dr. Adams asked. He touched the device and new pictures appeared. "These are from our own history. Humans at Thermopylae, humans at the Alamo, humans in Warsaw, humans at Stalingrad. Every time, some humans chose death over surrender." President Carter looked at each person around the table. "What are you saying? That we should fight an empire that spans half the galaxy?" "I'm saying they have never fought humans before," Johnson replied. "They expect us to give up like everyone else. But what if we don't?" Admiral Hayes leaned forward. "Even if we fight, we will lose. They have too many ships, too many soldiers." "Losing isn't the same as failing," Dr. Adams said quietly. "If we make them pay a price they never expected, maybe other worlds will see that the Empire can bleed." Kate Wilson had just returned from her spy mission. She was young, only 25, but she had seen more of the galaxy than most humans. She stood up and activated another map. "The Empire has a weakness," she said. "They use robots and slave workers for almost everything. Their own soldiers haven't fought a real war in 200 years. They are strong, but they are not used to anyone fighting back hard." "What do you think will happen if we say no?" President Carter asked her. Kate looked him in the eyes. "They will try to make an example of us. They will want to show the whole galaxy what happens when someone says no to the Empire. And if we say yes, humans will disappear. In 50 years, our children will forget we were ever free." The room was quiet. Outside the windows, they could see the alien ships in the sky. The ships were so big they blocked out the sun in some places. Commander Johnson spoke first. "I have 3 children. I want them to live, but I want them to live as humans, not as slaves." General Foster sighed. "My grandfather fought in World War III. He used to say that some things are worth dying for. I never understood what he meant until today." Dr. Adams nodded. Every species that surrendered to the Empire thought they were being smart. They thought staying alive was the most important thing. But now, their children don't even remember what freedom feels like. Admiral Hayes looked at the president. Sir, I have commanded ships for 30 years. I have never asked my crews to fight a battle we couldn't win. But maybe some battles are worth fighting even if you lose. President Carter was quiet for a long time. He thought about his daughter, who was studying to be a doctor. He thought about his son, who wanted to explore space. He thought about all, the humans who would never be born if Earth became a slave world. Finally, he spoke. Kate, send a message to the Emperor. What should I tell him, sir? President Carter stood up and walked to the window. The alien ships looked like dark clouds covering the sky. But between them, he could still see stars. Tell him that Earth's answer is no. Tell him that humans kneel to no one. And tell him that if he wants our world, he will have to take it from our cold, dead hands. The meeting ended. Everyone knew what would happen next. The Empire would come with all its power. Humans would fight with everything they had. Most of them would die, but they would die free, and sometimes that makes all the difference. 3 months passed after Earth said no to the Empire. Emperor Vextar was angry. No one had ever said no to him before. He decided to teach humans a lesson that the whole galaxy would remember. The Empire's warships moved toward the human colonies. First, these were small settlements on distant worlds where humans lived and worked. The Emperor thought these people would be easy to defeat. Captain Jake Morrison got the emergency call while his ship was near Jupiter. His old friend Steve Clark lived on a mining colony called New Hope. The colony had 5,000 people who dug metals from the ground. Jake, you need to get here fast, Steve said over the radio. His voice sounded strange. The alien ships are coming. Jake pushed his ship as fast as it could go. It took 2 days to reach New Hope. When he arrived, he saw the alien warships in orbit above the planet. They were huge and dark, like metal mountains floating in space. Jake called Steve again. I'm here. Start loading people onto my ship. We can save some of you. Steve was quiet for a moment, then he said something that surprised Jake. We're not leaving, my friend. What do you mean? Those ships will kill everyone. Maybe, but we talked about it. All of us. We won't be slaves, Jake. We won't let them use our mind to make weapons for the Empire. Jake looked at his screens. The alien ships were sending soldiers down to the planet. Steve, you can't fight them. There are too many. We know. But we can make sure they get nothing from us. Jake watched the planet through his telescope. He could see the alien soldiers landing near the mine. They moved in perfect lines, like robots. They expected the humans to surrender and start working for them. But Steve and his people had spent 3 months preparing. They had put bombs all around the mine and the buildings. When the alien soldiers reached the center of the colony, Steve pressed a button. The explosion was so bright that Jake had to close his eyes. When he looked again, there was nothing left of New Hope. The mine was gone. The buildings were gone. The alien soldiers were gone. Steve and his people were gone too. But they had died free. This happened on other worlds too. On a farming planet called Green Valley, the colonists burned their crops before the aliens could take them. They poisoned the soil so nothing would grow for years. The aliens found empty fields and hungry people who chose to starve rather than feed the Empire. On Europa Station near Jupiter, Chief Engineer Mary Davis did something even more dangerous. When the alien ships surrounded the station, she sent a message to Admiral Lisa Hayes on Earth. Tell my children I love them, Mary said, and tell them their mother chose freedom. Mary overloaded the fusion reactors that powered the station. The explosion was so big that people on Earth could see it through telescopes. The alien fleet near Jupiter lost 30 ships in the blast. Admiral Hayes watched these reports from her command center. Each human colony that fell took alien soldiers with them. The Empire was winning, but they were paying a price they had never paid before. Lieutenant Sam Parker worked in intelligence. His job was to listen to alien radio messages. What he heard surprised everyone. They're confused, Sam told Admiral Hayes. The aliens are talking to each other about humans. They don't understand why we choose death over surrender. What are they saying? One alien commander said that humans fight like they want to die. Another said that humans are broken in the head. They think we're crazy. Admiral Hayes smiled. It was not a happy smile. Maybe we are crazy, but it's working. The reports kept coming. On the mining world called Red Rock, the humans destroyed all the equipment before the aliens arrived. On the research station near Saturn, the scientists deleted all their computer files and then blew up their laboratories. Commander Rick Johnson led the most dangerous mission. He took a small team to attack an alien fuel depot. This was where the HFY alien ships got the energy they needed to fly. We're not trying to capture it, Rick told his team. We're going to destroy it. The mission was successful, but it cost Rick his life. The explosion destroyed the fuel depot and damaged 50 alien ships. Without fuel, those ships couldn't attack other human worlds. Dr. Paul Adams studied the alien reports that Sam Parker collected. He made an important discovery. The aliens are starting to doubt themselves, Paul told Admiral Hayes. They conquered 12 other species easily. But humans are different. We're making them work harder than they ever had to work before. Is that enough? Admiral Hayes asked. Maybe not to save us, but the other slave species are watching. They see that the Empire can be hurt. Some of them are starting to cause trouble, too. This was true. On 3 worlds where alien slaves lived, the workers had started to slow down. They made mistakes on purpose. They broke equipment. Small acts of rebellion that had never happened before humans showed them it was possible to fight back. By the end of 3 more months, the Empire controlled all the human worlds. But they were empty worlds. The humans had destroyed everything useful before they died. The Empire found burned cities, poisoned mines, and broken machines. Emperor Vextar was furious. He had conquered the human colonies, but he had gained nothing. Worse, the cost had been enormous. He had lost more soldiers fighting humans than in his last 10 conquests combined. And now, other species in his empire were starting to remember what freedom felt like. The fire of human defiance was beginning to spread. Emperor Vextar decided he had seen enough. The human colonies were gone, but the cost was too high. Now he would attack Earth itself. He would make sure every alien in the galaxy saw what happened to those who said no to the Empire. The Emperor brought his biggest war fleet to Earth. 1,000 ships surrounded the blue planet. Each ship was the size of a city. The humans had only 50 ships left to defend their homeworld. Admiral Lisa Hayes stood on the bridge of her ship, watching the alien fleet approach. She knew this was the end, but she also knew that humans would not go quietly. All ships, she said into her radio, fight until you cannot fight anymore. Make them remember us. The space battle began at dawn. Human ships were smaller and faster than alien ships. They moved like angry bees around the giant alien vessels. For every human ship destroyed, they took down 2 alien ships, but there were too many aliens. Soon only 10 human ships were left. Then 5. Then 3. Admiral Hayes watched her fleet die around her. Her own ship was badly damaged. Fires burned on every deck. Half her crew was dead. Admiral, her radio officer said, Captain Morrison is calling. Jake Morrison's ship was also dying. Alien weapons had torn holes in its sides. Lisa, he said over the radio, I'm going to ram the command ship. Maybe that will give you time to send the message. Jake, no, we need you. You need the message more than you need me. Jake turned his ship toward the biggest alien vessel. It was Emperor Vextar's flagship. Jake pushed his engines to maximum power. His ship moved faster and faster toward the alien command ship. The aliens tried to stop him, but Jake's ship was too small and too fast. It hit the flagship's shield generator and exploded. The flagship's protective shields failed. While the aliens were busy fixing their shields, Admiral Hayes sent an important message to Earth. It was a computer virus that Dr. Paul Adams had created. The virus would spread through the alien communication system and break their machines. But sending the message took time. The aliens saw what Hayes was doing and attacked her ship. Her vessel exploded just as the message finished sending. The virus was now spreading through space, but Earth was still in danger. On the planet below, the alien invasion had begun. Millions of alien soldiers landed in every country. They had better weapons and better armor than humans, but they found something they did not expect. Colonel Ben Cooper led the defense of North America. He had spent months preparing for this day. His soldiers did not fight in open fields where the aliens could use their big weapons. Instead, they fought in cities, in buildings, in sewers, in subway tunnels. Every street became a battlefield. Every building became a fortress. The aliens had conquered many worlds, but they had never fought in cities like this. They were used to enemies who lined up in neat rows and surrendered when things got hard. Humans did not fight that way. When aliens took one building, humans attacked from the building next door. When aliens controlled one street, humans came up from underground, tunnels behind them. The fighting was terrible. Humans died by the thousands, but aliens died too. They died in numbers that shocked their commanders. Lieutenant Kate Wilson had a different mission. While the battle raged on Earth's surface, she was in space, hiding inside a damaged alien ship. She had been there for 2 weeks, watching and listening. Kate learned that the aliens were planning something horrible. They wanted to capture human leaders alive and torture them in front of cameras. They would broadcast the torture to every world in the Empire. This was meant to show everyone what happened to those who fought back. Kate sent this information to the human resistance. President Dan Carter was hiding in a bunker under the Rocky Mountains. When he got Kate's message, he made a hard decision. "We cannot let them use us as an example," he told his advisors. "If they torture our leaders on camera, it might stop other worlds from fighting back." Dr. Paul Adams was also in the bunker. He had been working on the computer virus for months. "The virus is ready," he said, "but we need to keep our communication systems working long enough to send it to the whole galaxy. That means we have to hold our positions even if we all die." The president nodded. "Then that's what we'll do." The final battle for Earth's communication center took place in Colorado. Colonel Cooper brought every soldier he could find to defend the mountain base. The aliens brought their strongest army to destroy it. The battle lasted 3 days. Humans fought with guns, rockets, and bombs. When they ran out of weapons, they fought with knives and rocks. When they ran out of everything, some humans threw themselves at alien soldiers just to slow them down. On the 3rd day, the aliens broke through the last defense. They reached the communication center just as Dr. Adams finished preparing the virus. "Send it now," the president ordered. Dr. Adams pressed the button. The virus shot out into space through the communication arrays. It spread to alien ships around Earth, then to alien bases on other worlds, then to the heart of the Empire itself. But the aliens had reached the control room. They killed Dr. Adams as he sent the virus. They captured President Carter and Colonel Cooper. The communication center was destroyed. Earth had fallen. The human government was gone. The human military was destroyed. Millions of humans were dead. The survivors were loaded onto alien ships and taken to prison camps on other worlds. Emperor Vextar stood in the ruins of Washington, D.C. He had won. Earth belonged to the Empire now, but the victory felt strange. He had lost more soldiers taking Earth than he had lost in his previous 20 conquests combined. "Broadcast my message to the galaxy," he told his communications officer. "Tell everyone that the human infection has been cured. Tell them what happens to those who resist the Empire." The Emperor's message went out to every world in the galaxy, but the Emperor did not know that Dr. Adams's virus was spreading through the same communication network. The virus was invisible and silent. It would take months to work. But when it did work, it would change everything. The virus was designed to make alien machines break down slowly. It would look like normal equipment failures at first, but as time passed, more and more alien systems would stop working. And when the alien machines failed, the slaves on 1,000 worlds would have their chance. The fire that humans had lit was about to become a wildfire that would burn across the galaxy. But for now, Earth was silent. The Empire had won. Or so they thought. 6 months passed after Earth fell. Emperor Vexatar was happy. The humans were defeated. Their leaders were dead or in prison. The survivors worked in mines and factories across the Empire. The galaxy was quiet again. The Emperor made speeches to all the worlds. "The human madness is over," he said. "No one will ever challenge the Empire again. Peace has returned." But peace was not what it seemed. On a mining world called Kepler 438b, a human named Tom Bradley worked in the deep tunnels. He used to build spaceships on Earth. Now he carried rocks for alien masters. But Tom was watching something interesting. The alien machines were breaking down. It started small. A drill would stop working for no reason. A transport truck would suddenly lose power. The aliens thought it was normal wear and tear. They fixed the machines and kept working. But Tom knew better. He had helped Dr. Paul Adams test the virus before Earth fell. The virus was designed to look like random failures. It would spread slowly through all the alien computer systems. Tom began talking quietly to other human prisoners. "Watch the machines," he told them. "Count how many break each day." The humans started keeping track. Every day more machines failed. The aliens were getting frustrated. They could not understand why their equipment was breaking so often. On another world, Kate Wilson was still alive. The aliens thought she had died during the battle for Earth, but she had hidden in the wreckage of an alien ship. For 6 months, she had been building a secret network. Kate had found other humans who were still free. Some were hiding in asteroid fields. Others lived in abandoned space stations. They were few, but they were connected by hidden radio signals. "The virus is working," Kate told them during a secret meeting. "Alien systems are failing all across the galaxy. Soon the slaves will have their chance." The chance came sooner than expected. On the slave world of Proxima Station, the Altarians had been working for the Empire for 50 years. They were a peaceful people who had surrendered without fighting when the aliens came. But they remembered freedom. The Altarians were led by an old female named Zara. She was wise and patient. For 50 years she had told her people to wait for the right moment. That moment came when the automatic defense systems around Proxima Station suddenly shut down. The virus had finally reached the station's main computers. The weapons that kept the slaves in line were no longer working. Zara stood up in the factory where she worked. She looked at the alien guards. They were confused because their communication devices had stopped working. They did not know that the defense systems were down. "My people," Zara said in her own language. "Today, we remember what it means to be free." The Altarians rose up. They were not fighters like humans, but they were angry. They had been slaves for 50 years. They overwhelmed the alien guards and took their weapons. Within hours, Proxima Station was free. The Altarians sent a message to other slave worlds. "The machines are failing. The Empire is weak. Fight now." The rebellion spread like fire across dry grass. On world after world, slave species rose up. The virus had crippled the alien communication systems. Imperial commanders could not coordinate their response. Each world fought alone, without help from the Empire. On Earth, Colonel Ben Cooper crawled out of a hidden bunker. He had been hiding for 6 months with a small group of soldiers. They had eaten rats and drunk rainwater, but they had survived. Ben looked at the alien occupation forces in the ruins of New York. The aliens were arguing with each other. Their vehicles would not start. Their radios did not work. Their computer screens showed only error messages. "It's time," Ben told his soldiers. "The virus has done its job. Now we do ours." The human resistance came out of hiding. They attacked alien patrols whose weapons had jammed. They destroyed supply convoys whose trucks had broken down. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy they thought was defeated. Emperor Vexitar sat in his palace trying to understand what was happening. Reports came from across the galaxy. Slave rebellions on 12 worlds. Equipment failures on every Imperial base. Communication breakdowns that left his commanders blind and confused. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "The humans are defeated. Their leaders are dead." His chief scientist, a creature with 6 eyes and no name, studied the reports. "My Emperor, this appears to be some kind of computer virus. It has infected our entire communication network." "The humans did this?" "It is possible. Their final transmission from Earth contained large amounts of data. We thought it was random static from their dying computers. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. Then he roared in anger. The humans planned this. Even in defeat, they found a way to hurt us. But it was too late. The virus had spread too far. The rebellions were too many. The empire that had ruled half the galaxy for 1,000 years was falling apart. Dr. Paul Adams had designed the virus to do more than break machines. It also carried a message that appeared on every working computer screen in the galaxy. The message was simple. You demanded we kneel. We chose to burn. But from our ashes we lit a fire that burns in every heart that dreams of freedom. Today, that dream becomes reality. The message was signed, the free humans of Earth. Within a year, the empire was gone. Emperor Vextar was captured by his own former slaves. The species that had been conquered began to govern themselves again. Kate Wilson became the first human ambassador to the new Galactic Council. She was older now, with scars from the war, but her eyes were bright with hope. We lost our world, she told the council. We lost most of our people, but we proved something important. We proved that freedom is worth any price. Tom Bradley returned to Earth to help rebuild. The planet was damaged, but it was free. Humans began to have children again. They told their children stories about the war, about the people who chose death over slavery. President Dan Carter's daughter had survived the war. She became the new president of Earth. In her first speech, she said, "My father believed that some things are worth dying for. Today, I say that those same things are worth living for." Colonel Ben Cooper became a teacher. He taught young humans about military tactics, but more importantly, he taught them about courage. The aliens were stronger than us, he would tell his students. They had better weapons and more ships, but they could not understand why we fought when we knew we would lose. That is what made us different. That is what made us human. The galaxy learned a lesson from the humans. They learned that sometimes the greatest victory comes not from winning, but from refusing to surrender what you believe in. And they learned that the fire of freedom, once lit, can never truly be put out. The Empire had demanded that Earth kneel. Humans had burned their worlds instead. And from that burning, a new galaxy was born. A galaxy where freedom was the birthright of every living being. The fire had spread, and it would burn forever.